Hey everyone, welcome to the show. We're going to get started with completing our grad project. Let's move over to our main stage. Alright, we're in our main stage, and today's project is going to be doing the grad cap. Since I've already completed the grad gown, all I need to do is complete the grad cap and then put it all together. So that's what today is about. All of this will be done in VRoid Studio. So let's start the media. So we're now in VRoid Studio. I've got my main model Landy, myself, and now I'm in the hair editor section. I'm just hiding the sections of hair because I use Landy as a base for all my other models. So I have to keep the option of whatever sort of outfit or character I would be portraying. So, right now we're moving over to changing up some hair, or the hair color that makes up my hat. Now, my top hat is actually going to serve as the base for creating the grad cap. So we gotta change it to black, and then later on we'll add the tassel. This is all going to be utilizing the hair editor tool. So we'll transform the base to the color, and now I'm working with the layer that formed the flat portion that is on top of the grad cap. I'm trying to reuse the circle that makes up the brim of my top hat. Going to try and reuse it, but you'll find out later on that I was not able to reuse it as is. I had to do a couple of tries to get things looking like the square top that's on a grad cap. But we're going to try and set things up using what I already have. So I keep turning things around, viewing things from different angles, so I can get things set up the way I need it to be. Alright, so we've nearly got everything lined up. I realize I'm going to have to not only line things up correctly, but the profile of the hair piece is going to have to be all straight, like a box. Now I definitely want the circle portion that would be the base of the grad cap, and then we need the square portion for our top before we even get to the tassel. Tassel I decided to keep simple, but I could go a little bit more elaborate if I want to, which I just might. But first things first, we gotta get our base all set up. So I'm playing around with little details, trying to get it as perfectly circular as possible, trying to get everything lined up correctly. Of course, zooming in and out in order to check the profile of it. Now I'm playing around with width and depth of the actual piece. realizing it, I have to go definitely thinner, so width of the hair piece is going to be pretty well flat, whereas the outer dimensions I do want a little bit wide. Okay, now we're moving on to the layer that has the brim of my top hat. I'm moving it up so that it can form the top portion of the grad cap. Now the fun part. I've got to manipulate this circle and turn it into a square. Now I haven't figured out how to delete pixel points. It'd be great if I could, then that'd be a lot easier to create a square out of a circle by just releasing pixel points. I had to do it over and over again. So don't be afraid to keep on trying. Eventually, you'll find the solution. It just may take some practice and persistence. This is what took the most amount of time for me. Surprisingly, the grad gown didn't take all that much time to create, as you saw in yesterday's program. But trying to finesse this grad cap into the right position that I need in order to create a square turned out to be quite a bit more difficult. It'd be a lot easier if I could just use vector shapes. But I am working with the drawing tool, so I'm trying my best to create a square. Even if it meant overlapping a bunch of points. So I'm trying my best, manipulating what I can. And then of course I'm going to have to play with the dimensions of it so that it'll be all the ends will overlap each other and create one solid surface. But first I've got to get the square portion all set. And as I found out, it's a lot more difficult than what I thought it would be. Who knew the actual square item would be a lot more difficult than creating a curved one? I guess since it's made out of triangles rather than rectangles in these 3D objects, it kind of makes sense that it's a little harder to do an actual square of equilibrium triangles. But I keep trying. After definitely some trial and error, I think I did eventually erase the one that I'm working on and try again in drawing it. And of course I'm going to have to play with the colors because it looks like my shadow is turning out a lot brighter than the rest of the piece. I keep trying to line it up so that I do get that box shape. Eventually I'll be able to get this set up correctly so that I can sell it on booth. Because I do want to sell this hair preset and the well, I don't think I can quite sell the entire hair preset. I'll have to work on a few things. The hair preset with the grad cap in place I'll definitely be selling, and the actual gown texture once I polish it up, because I discovered something when I was looking over it in the test motion that I didn't quite line up things with the colored sash. So just little tweaks will have to be done. But it's not too bad. I can easily fix those with enough patience. That's looking pretty close to the right shape. It's definitely looking more like a square. Too bad I can't get an exact square. That'd be most brilliant if I could. Probably, now that I think about it, the only way to get an exact square is just have one straight across line instead of trying to form the four corners like I was doing. I should have tried that earlier. But that's what you get. Gotta keep on learning. And sometimes the simplest things are the best way to go. I was just so focused on trying to create this box. It was not until now that I actually realized that there was an easier solution. And no kidding, I'm going to be going back later and fixing that. Because I do want a perfect square and the gown perfected before I actually put it up for sale. Now I realize my mistake and realize how simple it could have been. Wow, that kind of looks like beret right now. I'll keep that in mind. If I ever want to create a beret, that might be the way to go. Yeah, duly noted for future outfits. Uh, yeah, I kept on trying to work with the same route over and over again. Eventually, I got it to something that I liked. I guess I should have just given myself time away and I would have figured it out later. Uh, you can see now that I was definitely struggling. And it's okay. It's okay that I struggled. I may not like the struggle, but it was a learning experience, that's for sure. So here I'm trying again. I figured if I just draw a box again, I'd be able to get it closer to what I want, and eventually I did. I did get it closer to what I want. So here I'm just trying to manipulate things. I'll have to change it up a a little bit more later once I get the thickness correct. You definitely see my persistence. That's for sure. Sure, if I had given myself more patience, I would have found the answer to it a lot sooner. But I wanted to get this all ready for you, the viewer. So I was trying my best with the way that I was doing things. So here we go. I'm editing the profile of the hairpiece that is actually making up the top of the grad cap, making it all nice and square and wide. Just pulling a few bits and pieces into place so that the outer edge actually lines up. I'm just trying different widths as well in order to make sure that I got exactly what I needed in order to create this grad cap. Looks like I nearly have it in place. I'll be editing the color later, but I just want to be able to first get it to the right proportions. So I'm just filling around with the number, trying to get it exactly the way I need it. I'm realizing width is not the way that I needed it to be, so we're going to change that up and go with another portion of it. There we go. That looks a little bit closer. I'm going to have to finesse the edge just a bit more. Okay, that's looking a lot better. Okay, now to change up a few other things. Gotta change the color so that it actually looks black, especially in the shadows, and it will match the grad gown that'll come in later. Now I thought I could just add the tassel onto the same layer as what I created the cap top on. I certainly learned my mistake on that one. I found out that the tassel actually has to be on its own layer, its own group, separate from the cap top as well as its base. So you actually have to have 3 different hair groups in order to create the grad cap. I'm just changing the color because I used an orange for what I put in Lenore's model outfit. Just changing a few other things. Okay, that looks about right. But I realize that it definitely had to be on its own hair group. Now I can actually change the position of the hair by using the X and Y axis to get into the right position. Looks like it's just about there. Okay, that looks about right. Looks like it's sitting in the right position. Just a little tweak here and there to the group. What I love is being able to spin the model and turn it so that I can actually get a good view and line everything up correctly. Alright. Now to adjust the colors a bit more, now that I have the position all correct, I'm going to make it an actual Burgundy Tassel. I think later I'll actually take a picture of my existing grad tassel. That way it'll look a little bit more realistic to what was on there. But that actually doesn't look too bad as it is right now. Okay. Now that that's in place, let's get the clothes. So I'm going to have to change up the top. I thought at first I might be using the one piece dress, but then I remembered that I'm actually using the long coat with the folded collar. But it won't be until after I change the dimensions of the dress base then I realized that I had to change over to the long coat. But trial and error. It's good to learn for a little bit. There we go. Now we got the proper base in place. Alright, let's change a few dimensions, make this look like an actual grad gown before I add the texture that I made. So we'll just play with a few of the parameters, get everything set up correctly. Because it's always a lot easier to do it on the base first and then apply the texture, rather than the other way around. A little bit more adjustment. I need this to be A-line from essentially the armpits rather than from the bust line. So just adjust a few of the parameters, and of course want somewhat wide sleeves. So of course taking out the gathers, making sure that it's all lined up correctly. That looks pretty close. I just want to adjust a few more of the parameters because I want this to fall really nicely. Okay, now that the parameters are all set, let's add in my actual texture. Now I'm actually going to be keeping the base texture in place as well as the one that I created, so that I can actually have a white collar. So we'll be having both in place. So first things first, I gotta find my texture. Alright, found it. Let's place it. Alright, from this position it actually looks pretty good. But I do see a few things that I might have to change up before I actually put it up to sale. But it doesn't look that bad actually. In fact, it looked pretty good when I first looked at it. But now I see a few things I might want to change up. Let's take it over for a test walk. We'll bring it up into view, play around with the animations. Yeah, I like this swinging arm one because it allows me to view things all the way around. And place it on a walk. Alright. Looks pretty good. Now to see about exporting it to VRoid Hub. So, of course, I'm doing a new variation of Landy. So, I select that. We'll type in the information needed on this variant. And then try to export it out. Of course, need to find the right position in order to take a full body shot. And we'll need to zoom in and take a close-up. There we go. Got that close-up all set. Now let's see about exporting it. Now, as of this moment, this model actually hasn't been exported. I've been having a bit of trouble trying to upload it to VRoid Hub, but once I do, I'll be able to actually use Doll Dancer to create a dance video with it, as I did with my current model right now. There is on my second channel, which is Unbordered Idol, an actual dance video made using the Doll Dancer app. So I'll be doing a lot of these Doll Dancer app videos and placing them on that second channel. Now to warn you, I won't be streaming tomorrow due to upgrades in the local area. So I won't have any power in order to stream. But I'll try to make it up to you all on Tuesday and have probably a longer stream. I'll make sure that I can get everything ready so that we can have a lot more fun on a 2-hour slot rather than a 1-hour, or in this case, half an hour. But I want to thank you all for coming in and viewing how I created a grad version of my character Landy. So until next time, see ya!